I raised my hands. Of course I did. My nightmare helicopter had appeared to wake me up. The voice in charge was a man's voice. And even though it didn't seem Damian's, I supposed it was him who flew the machine and that a woman that looked like a classic comic character was at the back seat ready to drag me with an only hand. "Coast Guard speaking! Identify yourself!" They shouted from the heights. They shouted with the intention of me doing it, but I didn't know how. "Identify yourself!" they shouted again. "My name is Rita," I said shyly. As soon as I did, a kind of sheet hanging on a rope fell out of the blue. I supposed it was for me to tie to it and take me up to the helicopter. In the meanwhile, I thought about how, in spite of all the noise that infernal machine was making, and the far away they were, in spite of looking so close, they had heard me, and that they accepted my name as identification. And in spite of everything, I felt they were in a spirit of peace. So I tied up to the rope. I felt cold, like in my dream, but this time not owed to the defenselessness, but the cold of the night, the water and the bones. There were 3 persons inside, two at the front, from whom I couldn't see more than the back part of their helmets, and behind, a man, I guessed, below all that paraphernalia of helmets, uniforms, glasses, and bulletproof vest. He was who hanged me as soon as I put my face round the door, who sat me down on the seat, and who nursed and hitched me from the rope. He put me on the headphones and some kind of blanket that made me feel hot at last, since I dared to the sea. "What were you doing so far away from land?" he asked. "Far? They called far to a few meters? They really guarded the coast. Thank goodness they warned about your disappearance. You went straight to the south current. You will be very surprised in the morning," he said with half a smile. I remembered that I had lain on the floor and fell asleep. Well, I didn't remember that. I deduced it by the result. "Who did warn you?" I asked, trying to weigh the parameters I was moving in, trying to know if my saviors were really saviors, or if I would end at the edge of a cliff in an abandoned quarry with a gun on my head. "Your boyfriend," the man said naturally. Of course, it was not the answer I was waiting for, because I didn't have a boyfriend. I tried to guess, while I saw the first lights on the horizon, if the man was talking seriously, or if someone of the Torvalds had decided I was useful, even I didn't give them the exclusive. Or if Fräulein, repentant of having invited me to dinner, got alarmed when he didn't see the boat on the port. Or if Damian had came back despite the scared he was of the resistance. "He is waiting for you at the base," he added with a piece of sarcasm. The town little lights approached more, and the helicopter landed behind the port. The man told me to take off the earphones, and when the propellers stopped, we got down. In front of us walked a man and a woman that looked at me with the sarcastic face of the man next to me. "Come, you can take a hot chocolate with butter. It's the best to warm you up," the man next to me invited. Inside, each one took their path, and I saw myself standing alone in a silent corridor. The noise of a radio at the end directed me to what must be the broadcasting station. There was the man that came with the woman, and sat down I saw the Fräulein's unmistakable shoulder. unmistakable without having anything special that permitted distinguish it. But it was his, as I could confirm when I got near. Not too near, because when they heard my steps, Fräulein got up and left the earphones on the table, and the men standing sat down to answer the radio. Fräulein came out of the broadcasting station before I even had time to go in. "What a freshwater sailor you are," he said by the way of greeting. With a bit of sarcasm, of course, but in a kind way. He pointed the place to go. It was a small sitting room with a steaming coffee pot and a comforting smell of thick chocolate.